Take an individual and expose them for long enough to the right techniques, to subtle and not so subtle persuasion, and experts say the human brain can be reprogrammed. In other words, our individual can be brainwashed.
Society doesn't really know what it is that they're dealing with. They don't really understand this force and the potency of the force.
Professor Benjamin Zablocki is one of the world's foremost experts on brainwashing.
It's enormously effective in changing the individual and creating what is known as a deployable agent. Deployable agent is the word that we use to describe an individual who will do anything that he or she is told to do by the group or by the group leader.
Professor Zablocki says the techniques perfected over many years by religious cults are now being increasingly used by Islamist groups to radicalise their new recruits. Persuading individuals to sacrifice their own lives in the name of religion is far from easy. It can, Professor Zablocki says, take many months, even years. Ashraf al-Haq is painfully familiar with the techniques of the brainwasher. A former radical Islamist, he's now an academic researching radicalisation.
Somebody comes along and says, well, you know, there's a reason why your life isn't so good, and this is the reason, and this is what you have to do about it. This is what you have to do about it is where the indoctrination comes into place, because then they use scripture and their charisma, essentially, to guide this individual.
And breaking free of their control, he says, is extremely difficult.
When that's coming from an authority which is backed up by God in the eyes of the youth, he's not going to, or she's not going to disagree with it, because they think, well, this is the way.
Professor Zablocki doesn't want to see curbs on religious freedom. However, he says there is an urgent need for governments to address the issue. But there are no easy answers when it comes to penetrating secretive groups and combating the mind games they use to deadly effect. Mark White, Sky News.